Hello, beautiful souls. Welcome to Cosmo Muse and this week's reading, which I'm keeping a little bit simple and at the same time broad. I'll explain what I mean here. I just feel I was really called for some reason to a specific deck that really, I don't know, it just seems like it really is wanting to be used or could be used right now. And that is the Medicine Heart Oracle from Alana Fairchild. And when I use her decks, I love to rely on her guidebooks. She just has like such deep, profound wisdom, and her cards, will give, sometimes they'll give like a keyword, but like the one that I'm using, this Medicine Heart Oracle, just has like the name of these figures, which I'm not familiar with any of them. On top of that, I just love, the depth and wisdom she writes with. So when I do tend to use her decks, I like to be able to pull a lot from the guidebook, which takes some time. So this is kind of like an immersion into one of Alana Fairchild's decks. We're going to pull a card for each pile from that. So what this is going to be about is bringing you wisdom around something on your mind. So you don't need to frame a question around that thing, just like hold that thing in mind. Like, what is something in your mind you have a lot of energy around, or a lot of just stuff around? It's like on your mind a lot. What is that? And let's just see what this deck, what kind of wisdom and insight this deck can bring. And then after we read from that, we will do some tarot cards. And that is where I am using, because I don't want you to see which, and I don't want to know yet going into the piles, which Medicine Heart card each pile gets. I kind of want those to come out once we enter the reading. So I'm using the Thoth Tarot. That's the deck I'm going to be using to get some additional clarity and messages once we read from the Alana Fairchild booklet. And so these cards are kind of placeholders. I will incorporate them into the tarot aspect, but they're not like prominent features of the reading. They're just kind of placeholders. So that being said, let's look at our three groups, and maybe you have more than one thing on your mind. If you do have, we all have a lot more than one thing on our mind, but something that's like really pressing on you, if you have a couple things really pressing on you and you feel a pile being drawn to you for each of those, you can do as many piles as you want, as long as they feel resonant, as long as you're feeling drawn to one, So take a minute and get that topic. I would start with one at a time. So if you have more than one topic, I would start with the first one and do the process of being called to a pile, and then go back and do the second one, that kind of thing. But let's at least get your first one in mind. What is that? Just the energetic of it. You don't need a question around it. And which pile? Pile 1, we have the 3 of discs. Pile 2, we have the 5 of cups. And pile 3, we have the 4 of discs as well. So at least for that first topic or thing on your mind, which of those 3 are calling for you? So pause here, do that for as many things you're feeling drawn to do that for. Timestamps will be in the descriptions. And then also just a reminder, if you're ever wanting some astrology insight, I have a website and blog and all sorts of free stuff, and a membership that's paid. So go check that out, cosmomuse.com. There is, I do every Monday, what's coming up in the stars for the week. So minimally go check that out. That's free. It's the weekly stars under the blog. tab, and my Substack I also do every Monday, and that's more of like personal musings. I kind of tend to talk about the past week, kind of more reflection of how astrology played out for me over the past week versus like what I projected it might be. And so it's a little more personal, but the Substack has a link in the descriptions as well if you want to check that out too. So yeah, when you're ready, just go to the timestamps in the descriptions and let's jump into these readings. All right, I'll see you guys there. Hello, pile one. Welcome to your reading. You guys picked this 3 of Discs pile, which I'm just going to put this card to the side because we'll get to the tarot in a little bit. But first, let's get your Medicine Heart Oracle card. If you didn't watch the intro, it is just really diving deep into this deck and the wisdom that Alana Fairchild has through her guidebook with these cards. So whatever topic is on your mind, just seeing what kind of wisdom it might bring you about that topic. So I will just be reading from the guidebook from that, and then we'll do some tarot as well. And it's kind of like a buckle in. These are like 4 to 5 page descriptions, but such beautiful wisdom always coming through in those. Okay, so let's get the wisdom that you need for the thing on your mind. Okay. And we've got Shaman's Mirror, card 34. Hold it up a little bit for you guys. And okay, so I'm just going to find this in the guidebook and read directly from there. There's also like a healing process at the end of each description. That's another couple pages. I'm not going to do those just for time's sake. If you're interested, go check out this deck and, get it for yourself. Okay, let's see. Okay, Shaman's Mirror. A pause to reflect lengthens that magical moment of liberating potential that occurs between action and reaction. In that moment, there is precious power to halt karma in its tracks. To accept such karma-clearing potency, slow down and look deeper. The dynamics happening around you are veiled pathways to better understand the dynamics within you. Be patient and contemplative. To understand what is taking place, what belongs to another, and what belongs to you. Only then can you realize what is being asked of you at a spiritual level. There is an empowered inner response to an outer trigger that will bring you peace while simulating wise action on your part. I'm going to read that last sentence one more time because I feel like that's really important. There is an empowered inner response to an outer trigger that will bring you peace while stimulating wise action on your part. The mirror is an object with shared sacred potential, laden with deep, complex meanings. The art of deflection is a form of spiritual protection found in multiple folk traditions. The mirror, perhaps the ultimate symbol of deflection, has found its way into both superstition and spiritual practices around the world. From scrying in a dark mirror as a divination technique, gazing in the reflective pools of water to gain psychic access to other dimensions, to the hanging of mirrors to deflect poison arrows, to other negative energies in the Chinese art of geomancy known as feng shui, reflective surfaces have been acknowledged as both protectors and portals for thousands of years. In the Dzogchen teachings, the mirror is known as Melang and is a symbol of the true nature of the mind. It reflects all, yet the reflections do not change in any way. There is truth, non-interference, non-judgment. It simply is, and all of life transpires in its purview. Human confusion results when one forgets that mind is a mirror and begins to identify with the reflections. In this way, Melang, or the divine mirror of spiritual truth, is a symbol of unshakable spiritual knowledge, transcending duality, and in doing so, leading one into direct, immediate experience of one's true nature. Complete spiritual realization is the ultimate form of spiritual protection, yet whilst on the path to such attainment, it is helpful to attend to our needs for psychic self-protection, quickening our progress towards the goal. The oracle speaks of rapid spiritual progress becoming available to you, the opportunity to resolve a karmic holding pattern that previously outweighed your spiritual capabilities. If you are working on a particular issue at present or feeling that you are at the brink of a breakthrough, trust this. Stay committed to the work and know that the shift is inevitable. The Melang is also worn by non-shamans for personal protection from jealousy or ill will, and the oracle speaks of the need for practicality on the spiritual path. Include intention for resolution of mundane matters in your spiritual practices, along with your loftiest aspirations for awakening. Dzogchen Master, I'm probably butchering all of these names, Chogyal Namkhai Norbu Rinpoche, taught that spiritual practice can guide the student toward enlightenment whilst also providing secondary or provisional benefits. Provisional benefits include resolving problems with love, legal matters, taking care of money and health, and dealing with any other worldly challenge. The oracle speaks of a deeply practical side to your spiritual path, which will assist you to resolve everyday issues as you awaken to expansive self-realization. Allow your spiritual path to become part of how you approach and solve any difficulties in your life. Put your beliefs to the test. In the shamanic worldview, the mirror is an eye that sees both the outer and inner, the interdimensional portal for spiritual journeying, and also a psychic container for spiritual energies. Mirrors form part of the shamanic armor for body, mind, and soul. Protection from hostile intent is afforded through the mirror, whether the source is from the human world or the lower vibrations of the astral psychic dimensions that would seek to inhibit the shaman's work. In this sense, the mirror is a mark of shamanic authority, rather like the Buddha placing his fingertips to the earth in the moment before his enlightenment, claiming his right to attain spiritual enlightenment. The mirror is a pronouncement of the shaman's innate spiritual authority to travel unharmed and complete the necessary tasks. The oracle speaks of the self-esteem and personally claimed spiritual sovereignty necessary to accomplish deep work. There is a need to believe in one's right to do one's work, empowered by a greater calling and one's own free will to set one's destiny in motion. You are encouraged to seek out and legitimize such certainty within you. You alone give yourself permission and the right to embrace your spiritual journey and unique life path. Shamanic mirror practice is typically a closed or high-level teaching that is only revealed to initiates. This is for protection due to the level of skill and development required to master the practices. Without such skill, there is the possibility that the teachings could be misused and backfire, creating more harm than good. Every sophisticated teaching lineage will have closed or secret teachings. Even the existence of these teachings may not be publicly known. The oracle speaks of an advancement in your soul, and as a result, an opening to new teachings, new understandings. With new teachings comes the requirement for increased skillfulness in managing one's energy and practicing discernment, kindness, and wisdom. Sometimes we want to rush forth and declare our new discoveries for all to hear. One can be true to oneself and also understand that sometimes it is wiser to be silent. Attempting to help someone rarely involves trying to get them to see your point of view, but rather being able to empathize with where they are coming from and finding a way to speak to that. You do not need to abandon your beliefs to make others comfortable, but as you approach higher levels of practice, you will sense a greater distinction between what you are able to share generally and what you share only with those you know have the capacity to receive what you are expressing without resistance born of fear. It is taught that before the Buddha's imminent enlightenment, he was tested by demons. The powerful negative forces hurled poisons of all kinds at him, and the Buddha's truthful gaze rendered them as flowers and healing ointments. The mirror is a powerful consciousness of truth. It reminds us that although needs must prevail, and one of those needs is to engage in the world, we need not make ourselves hostage to the hatred or fear we may encounter there. There is a spiritual power capable of loving the rebellious alchemy that exists in our universe, and therefore within us. Mirror is a reminder of a deeper spiritual power that is not swayed, distorted, or inhibited by the ways of the world. There is a balance to be sought in practicing spiritual protection. It is the balance between accepting what is necessary to tax our inner resources, providing the impetus and challenge imperative for growth, and that which is nothing more than an unnecessary impediment or distraction from our true path. Protection does not always mean prevention, and you can trust in the kindness and mercy of divine intelligence to know what you need and what you do not. All you need to do is practice to invoke it, and then trust. Wow, okay, so clearly if you've come here, you are definitely stepping into like new levels of spiritual awareness and awakening and understanding, and probably going through some challenges of seeing things, seen through distortions, seen through projections, both your own projections onto things, others' projections onto you, how projections are creating distortions, and having to like be able to step back and just be above the fray of that like coming into that understanding that sometimes people are at a certain level of maturity and personal development that they probably can't understand certain things you do, so there's no way to like alleviate certain projections and certain distortions that are around you or directed at you, and all you can do is like recognize the level you're dealing with and find some way to speak to that level. And so there is this inclusivity despite immaturity that I think you're maybe being challenged around right now. That may not exactly speak to what you're going through, but that might be something that starts coming up for you, is like having to be kind and inclusive and engaged with others that aren't quite understanding certain spiritual awareness that you have, but finding a way to still be pragmatic and in the world and connected and caring and kind, that kind of stuff. So a lot of, challenges of being that bigger person is, if you were to distill it into something, is like challenges of being the bigger person or just a good person in the world. Yeah. So let's get a few tarot cards to see what else is going on here. We've got the Three of Discs to start with. That was the card you picked. So the thing on your mind may relate to work or working with others or processes in life, things kind of like running like machine work kind of stuff. Maybe hard to feel like gears are moving well because there might be other gears in the cogs in the machinery of life that are not as awakened as you. And it's like, well, how do we just attend to that machinery to get it functioning to its highest capacity? I don't know, just whatever, is resonating with you. I'm just kind of using metaphor here, but let's get a few more tarot cards. Seven of Discs. There is something valuable around the thing on your mind that's worth attending to, giving time and patience to, whether that's to your own spiritual development or towards others you're working with, or investing in others and trusting that they will grow up, wake up, see more clearly. But for a lot of you, it could be just the investment in giving time to your own spiritual development and being able to see with a certain lens that is less distorted. Oh, we've got two that came right out. Death. Yeah, I think you're going through some big transformations, and that just can go to, like people respond to, like when you transform, you're showing up differently. An old version of you is gone, a new version has awakened that is usually more empowered, more enlightened, and people don't like shifts in relationships. And so that might be what's happening for some of you that come here, is like people are reacting to your growth and development, your transformation. They may be having reactionary moments with it because it's changing a dynamic, and so they're kind of reacting. And it's sort of like, give that time. The people who really love you will adjust. We've got the Prince of Discs, which is also like the Seven of Discs. It's like, hang in there. Like, I think there are conditions and people and projects and like whatever your topic related to, there's something valuable there. There's something worth being patient around. There's something worth having a steady, grounded, pragmatic pace with, and just like coming with this understanding that like, something about me has transformed, and I need to give life, conditions, other people, projects, whatever, time to catch up to that, time to adjust their expectations and their behaviors in response to this transformation. There's something worth being on course, staying steady, attending to thoughtfully, carefully, finding the value in each step. Okay, let's get one last tarot card. Queen of Wands. I think this is kind of like, this is what will come if you hang in there. This is what will come if, you know, you invest in your spiritual awakening. You give life time to catch up and adjust. When things kind of like stabilize in the new state, you'll have that Queen of Wands kind of passion, creativity, fierceness, a really, you know, like this way of being like a fierce yet compassionate leader, a highly inspired and caring creative, like new sparks that you know how to nourish, that you have kind of a nourished and commanding kind of presence with. It's like, that's where this is all heading. That's where things are going. If you can kind of hang in there, trust the process, be patient with certain things, conditions, people in your life. It is all, you know, things are reorienting, and it just takes time, and what's meant to stay will stay. Others that can't see through the distortions and have too many distortions, I think, will fall away. And what will be left when it stabilizes is a lot of passion and a lot of like really valuable paths. Really valuable, whether it's like really valuable people, really valuable work, really valuable environments, whatever your topic is about. Like, there will be really, it's worth the wait, whatever you're doing, and it's worth the effort, and it's worth the patient and the practical one step at a time and keep going. And it's worth being the bigger person or the more patient person, whatever that means to you. So that is your message. I hope it brought some wisdom, some kind of insight or depth to whatever was on your mind that you brought to this pile. Maybe there was something that really stuck out in the guidebook that I read that speaks, you know, very directly to your topic, or maybe the reading as a whole kind of like really spoke to things here. So whatever works for you, take what works and leave what doesn't. And yeah, just hopefully this does bring some insight. And yeah, I hope to see you in one or more of the other piles, or in another reading, or over on my website, Cosmo Muse. So like, share, subscribe if this did resonate. It really helps to, you know, boost it so other people can, you know, enjoy these readings if they're ones you feel other people would like. So yeah, definitely do that. All right, see you guys. Hello, Pile 2. Welcome to your reading, where we are getting a deep dive from the Ilana Fairchild Medicine Heart Oracle. We're going to pull one of the cards from that deck and just read. It's usually 4 to 6 pages, so it's kind of buckle in, just get some deep wisdom from an oracle card from that, and then we will be jumping into some tarot after, just to get a little bit more of a basic story coming out too, because these are more like deep spiritual wisdoms. So the tarot element will bring in some more mundane stuff. So you guys picked this 5 of Cups card, which will just be part of your tarot portion, which we'll bring out later. Okay, so let's bring in, so this is the Medicine Heart Oracle. We're just going to pick one card. There is, in addition to the main message, like a healing practice, which I'm not going to do just for time's sake, but that might be sort of your, you know, if this really resonates with you, your call to action to, you know, to go get this deck for yourself. Okay. And I'm not, this isn't a promotional, I just love her decks. So let's see what your Medicine Heart card is, what wisdom wants to be shared with the topic on your mind. Hu Yi. Okay. And this is card 22. I'll hold it up for you a little bit. It's like a man's torso and an albino tiger head. Okay. And I love just in general, 22 is the number of the master builder. I don't know that any numerology is used in this, but that's just a side thing coming through. Okay. So it looks like your reading is about 4.5 pages. Okay. You are doing better, have traveled further, and are getting closer than you realize. Ooh, that's great. Though you may not yet see evidence of it, your steady application of will and intention is coalescing into a liberating potency. You shall have your sacred outcome, but you must submit to the greater wisdom of universal cycles and divine timing. You do not need to react or rush. Keep your mind open and relax into the process. There is no need to tire yourself with rumination on what has been or what may come. Habitual thoughts and compulsive behaviors can yoke the mind to stultifying rigidity. Yet you are gestating a new consciousness strong enough to liberate yourself into softer, more spontaneous and expansive presence. Give your inner work time to take shape and gather sufficient spiritual strength, at which point you will leap and reap the reward. Freed into new activity and accomplishing your soul's task at the opportune moment. In the Taoist philosophy, the tiger is revered as a sacred medicinal animal. Hu Yi translates as Lord Tiger. He is a divine masculine tiger spirit, guardian found in numerous Taoist shrines. Hu Yi is associated with protection, war, and strategy. A particular power associated with this divine warrior is the ability to conquer enemies. This is considered important in Eastern spiritual traditions, where the possibility of another's energy enhancing or sabotaging one's spiritual progress, happiness, and well-being has long been recognized. Protection from the potential negative effects of jealousy, gossip, and ill will is part of the divine masculine intelligence that allows the soul to discern what needs to be acknowledged but not necessarily invited into the body and mind. All beings that suffer will tend to act out and project their pain onto others or the world in general, until their spiritual capacity evolves to bear the process of bringing that pain to personal consciousness, owning it, and then healing and outgrowing it. This is a natural part of the soul journey of humans, an essential step toward understanding and working with the creative power of the mind. To attempt to prevent this is neither possible nor actually beneficial in the long term. What can be accomplished, however, is a sacred refusal based on discernment. You can respect the right of all beings to live their reality, which is completely understandable to them based on their experiences. You can also respect your right to do the same. There is a liberating permission in such an awareness. It is the permission to be yourself without fear of what another may have to say about it. This is a remarkable gift of divine masculine energy. In spiritual understanding, the real potential enemy is recognized as dwelling within. Mastery is not about controlling another being. To vanquish the enemy may seem like it is about controlling external circumstances, But the spiritual method for mastery is to become more skillful at managing one's own energy as a necessity to accomplish the tasks of living well and fulfilling one's potential. Trying to change the world, shaping it into one's personal vision of heaven, is rather a difficult prospect to seeking to master oneself in order to become strong enough to surrender into higher wisdom, serving the greater good of all beings. Shamanic and Taoist grandmother goddess Zhiwang Mu is often depicted with tiger claws and associated with the white tiger. Zhiwang Mu is guardian over destructive energies, rare and precious wisdom that is hard won, long life and immortality, shamanic practice and feminine power and authority. She is the shamanic mediatrix between the worlds of human spirits and animals, residing in the Taoist vision of the world axis or navel, which is Mount Kunlun. She presides over the dimensional intersections that the soul must regularly navigate on its spiritual journey. She is a cosmic priestess who can guide the shamanic soul through spiritually difficult transitions. Her presence encourages the soul to continue with those worthy pursuits that may feel like they are taking forever and a day to culminate. She is the goddess of the long game and helps us recognize the short-term and long-term benefits of staying the course, whilst knowing how to wisely attract, utilize, and nourish ourselves with energies from multiple dimensions to successfully manifest our divine destinies. As the celestial queen of the shadowy, powerful feminine yin energies, in counterbalance to the bright, fierce masculine yang energies, Zhiwang Mu reminds us that resting in the magnetic power of attraction is equally important to dynamic initiation and activity. Her symbology as the white tiger is a beautiful blending of feminine and masculine energies, which is what naturally occurs in our souls as we grow spiritually. The goddess heralds the call to celebrate the feminine and recognize its value in your life. Whether that be the woman around you, your own body, or other expression of feminine energy within your being, such as the feminine principles of connection, collaboration, and creation, of nurturance, rest, and replenishment, as well as tending to day-to-day needs that sustain body, mind, and soul. The Oracle of Hu Yi is the awakening of the cosmic tantric tiger wisdom within the heart, reminding us to balance the pursuing masculine energy with the feminine quality of presence to ensure harmony and success. Divine masculine and feminine energies can be awakened and mutually honored in the heart, regardless of what your biological or gender identity may be. This is a spiritual process of soul tantra, bringing the apparent opposites of masculine and feminine ways of being into supportive, loving relationship with each other, ultimately providing humanity with creative, skillful means for navigating the trials of our world and making spiritual progress to benefit all. It is within our hearts that socially derived distortions of masculinity and femininity can be named and healed, allowing masculine and feminine to become radiant expressions of divine oneness with a differentiation that is complementary and constructive. Then there can be an intertwining within the heart to generate a soul medicine of bravery, strength, and spiritual confidence, laced with intrincative, I've never heard that word, with oh my gosh, I'm reading too much. I'm putting in letters that do not exist in this word. Laced with instinctive, intuitive wisdom that attunes the soul to the will of the universe and empowers humanity to express this in the world. I will read that sentence one more time because I may have broken it up with my own issues. Okay, then there can be an intertwining within the heart to generate a soul medicine of bravery, strength, and spiritual confidence laced with instinctive, intuitive wisdom that attunes the soul to the will of the universe and empowers humanity to express this in the world. Your life is your own, and there is a powerful healing magic that wants to manifest through you. Allow the masculine and feminine to make peace with each other within your soul, realizing the breadth of choices available to you. Sacred eroticism of the masculine and feminine, loving and enjoying each other in whatever way is uniquely and authentically true for you, vitalizes and empowers the soul to explore and express the many wondrous ways that one can walk this most precious human life. The oracle encourages you to lay claim to all parts of you, devour stereotypes like a hungry spirit tiger, and relish the creativity you have as a human to decide how you will approach your life. Boldness combined with patience will serve you well. Very cool. I love this, and that first intro continues to stick with me, that there's something you're closer to than you think, probably something you've put a lot of energy and time and effort into or thought into, or just something that has worried you for a long time. There's something that like a change, a fulfillment, a elevation, something is closer than you think, like more work has been done than you think. And like getting to that greater maturity of something or growth of something, it feels like the key is in balancing that yin and yang within you. Hopefully there were things within that reading that maybe more directly stuck out to you, but like some of the takeaways I have or summaries I might have is, like something is probably harmonizing in you, like understanding that balance of yin and yang, of action and receptivity, of spirit and soul. Some kind of harmony is coming into being that even that I think is closer than you realize. And it's like when that snaps in, when something really harmonizes there for you to a new degree at least. Something more external that, whatever's been on your mind that you brought to this reading, there's something closer than you think that's, like positive in nature. So let's look at some tarot cards to get some more kind of tangible thoughts about what you brought here. And the card you chose, the pile that you chose was pile 2, and it was held by the 5 of Cups, which can indicate some sort of disappointment or something that's haunting you. It's like, this energy of grief, of something that's passed or gone by, that's distracting you from seeing what is beautiful and beneficial in your life. So that may have something to do with some lag you may be feeling in like life picking up, or something specific picking up or moving forward or growing, where it's like there's still something from the past that you're holding on to, which is, there's nothing wrong with grief as long as you make space to see what is growing and moving forward in life. If you get completely trapped, it's like being in a haunted house. You're just being visited by ghosts of the past constantly. That's when grief gets pathological. But I think there's something here that is shifting around that. And it's like, maybe that for some of you, probably not everyone, like if this card really, this card may or may not resonate with everyone here. But if it's really resonating with you, like you're feeling like something about your past is holding you back, or something's like haunting you, it's like you're closer than you think to seeing how to move forward again. Ace of Wands. Oh, that is confirmation. Like it is very close. That, you know, that first line, it just sticks out to me. Like you're closer than you think to something around the topic you brought here. And this Ace of Wands showing up immediately after talking about kind of being stuck in the past and some stagnation and haunted by the past and stuck in loops of things. It's like you're about to break free, some kind of new creative inspiration, force, energy, passion, impulse is about to break through the surface for you. And then we've got Prince of Swords, which is fast action. Oh, I feel this thing of like hurry up and wait for you guys, like waiting and waiting, and in that waiting, all you really have the capacity or like capability to do is like think about the past or attend to the past or do things the way you've always done in the past. And it's like suddenly something breaks through and it's like a whole new energy. And there's this passion, there's vitality, there's sharp thinking, there's being quick on your toes, quick to respond, quick to come up with dynamic new ways of doing things, like bending your reality, using your mind. Okay, let's get a couple more cards. Six of Discs in this for this deck, the keyword for that is success. And so that also going back to our key phrase here, success is closer than you think. And the Six of Discs is like a lot of, it really does encompass that harmony between the yin and yang, the active and receptive, where there is like with the Six of Discs, this reciprocal kind of like give and take. But really knowing how to receive is an emphasis with it. So there might be something, you know, like we see with the Ace of Wands and the Prince of Swords, that dynamic yang energy, action, assertion, force. And then with the Six of Discs, it's like, but then also let things come to you, let other people support you, let resources be drawn to you, allow help, you know. So there's that feminine energy coming in there as well, where it's like not all up to you in the success coming in. It's like let other people support you in some way. And then we've got art with the Trumps card, which I believe this is the Temperance card, which is such a perfect card to come out for the last card of this reading, because that is about being able to have the mastery to know how to blend worlds, hold two different worlds, but that can also relate to like really knowing how to not only attend to your yin and your yang and use them appropriately, but like, and I think what at the end this card was the Hu Yi was getting to was like knowing how to like interweave these and have like magical solutions appear because of some kind of artful, masterful way of holding energy, which allows you to have a certain perspective and seeing that is, you know, much more elevated and much more fertile and alchemical. And yeah, so I see that coming through. So my sense is like something's been holding you, but I think you've been doing all this maybe like inner work, a lot of you with, you know, active, receptive, that kind of thing. But something like suddenly breaks through, and it's time to kind of like put those into the world rather than kind of internally digesting it. It's like life starts to respond to the way it's coming together in you and like some inner work you've done. And it's like activating both the yin and yang in you to be more present, to have to be utilized. And then it's like you immediately see once it's pulling out of you and you have to kind of interact with external forces, like how much work you actually have done and how quickly life is now responding to you in very different ways, in much more beneficial ways, in much more dynamic ways, in much more fluid, manifesting ways. And you start to see yourself quicker than you think. You'll start to see yourself as this masterful alchemist that just knows how to blend things, how to hold different things with ease and see unique solutions and make life, kind of bend life to your will in a way. Yeah, so very cool. So my final thought for you is like, just hang in there. You're so close to like, it's like a breaking point of, or that, not breaking point, a tipping point. You're so close to a tipping point of life just really dynamically shifting and the external world starting to respond to a lot of deep, deep, deep inner stuff you've been doing. Okay, so that's where I'm going to leave you guys. I hope that was helpful for whatever topic you brought here. Definitely go back and re-listen to the guidebook reading. There may be like specific sentences in there that really, with a re-listen after being through the whole reading that like pop for you, that you could write down as like a mantra or your guiding principle or something. Or maybe the reading as a whole just really brought some wisdom needed for whatever topic was on your mind for this. So if this did resonate, always appreciate the like, share, subscribe. If you really like it and think other people will, that helps them to find this and get people here. So definitely do that. And I hope to see you in future readings or even past readings. I'll see you in another one. All right, see you guys. Hello, beautiful pile 3. Welcome to your reading. You guys picked the 4 of Discs as your kind of placeholder card. We are I'm just going to put this to the side. It's going to be part of the tarot that we do at the end of the reading. So to jump in, we are going to get one oracle card from the Alana Fairchild Medicine Heart Oracle and just really deep dive into the wisdom in the guidebook around your card. Hopefully bringing some guidance or wisdom, some healing thoughts, whatever you may need around a topic on your mind that you brought to this reading. So let's get your card. Woo! I felt like this one really wanted to flip over. Wings, blood, and bone. Wow, very witchy. There's like flying fish on there too. Interesting. Wings, blood, and bone. Okay. So card 32, let's jump in. These are usually like 4 or 5 pages long. I'll tell you when I find the actual reading. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yours is like 4.5 pages, so not the longest I've done of the 3, but still pretty long. Okay, so let's dive in. You are spiritually outgrowing a difficulty in your life. Continue to act with trust, moving through unfamiliar territory. and your evolution into a new and less problematic era is assured. You will instinctively know when and how to take your leap of faith. You will recover from any temporary upheaval involved in this process swiftly, and you need not fear it. The patterns of the past have no power over you. Your journey may not always be understood by others because you are able to thrive through unconventional approaches to life. Hold on, let me read that sentence one more time. The patterns of the past have no power over you. Your journey may not always be understood by others because you are able to thrive through unconventional approaches to life where others may not be quite so bold. There is a spiritual insight that you will soon access, which will help you see things in a new and more positive light, bypassing potential pitfalls and continuing successfully on your authentic life path. I feel like that's a key word, like an authentic life path. Bizarre and beautiful winged flying fish is potent shamanic soul medicine for radical creative evolution that opens up new worlds of experience. The flying fish can leap high and glide swiftly through the air before gracefully returning to the waters. Scientists believe this evolved as a protective mechanism so that the fish could avoid predators. This movement pattern holds the medicine empowerment for spontaneously propelling oneself beyond the reach of negativity. Such a radical and unexpected divergence is an expression of protective instinct, intelligently removing you from potential harm on a path that has become dangerous due to negativities. Flying fish can symbolize the leap of faith that arises suddenly and takes us out of our comfort zone and yet protects and uplifts us. We return refreshed and empowered to continue our authentic life path on the other side of that leap. Fossils of the flying fish date back around 65 million years, although an ancient version of this fish was found in China in 2009 and has been dated back more than 235 million years. This older breed of fish is not genetically linked to the modern species, even though they demonstrate the same skillful means and evolutionary wisdom. Although there are valuable biological inheritances that arise through genetic bonds of blood and bone lineage, it is possible for the soul to experience powerful resonance with an ancestral lineage, culture, or tradition, even though it may be distant from the biological legacy of the body's current lifetime. Such vibrational kinship will arise on a spiritual level, feeling true and vitalizing for the heart. Even though there may not be a biological connection to warrant it, and even if there was little interest earlier in life, when the moment to leap into an otherwise foreign dimension is upon the soul, it is as natural as it is unexpected and astonishing to behold. Let's see. Soul resonance fosters undeniably potent bonds, which, when the heart is open, can transcend the legacies of blood and bone without denying or diminishing them. This connection opens the soul to a vaster reality of unity, expanding the sense of family from one's immediate, familiar circle of particular humans to include the entire human race. Such a breakthrough into increasingly expansive, unconditional love benefits every being on the planet. The teaching is not to dismiss nor underestimate the fierceness of blood and bone heritage, spiritual, cultural, or otherwise. Such a lineage can generate an exceptionally powerful chain of human consciousness, and depending on the level of awareness and spiritual maturity of the legacy, can foster healing and awakening in the members of that clan, which in turn benefits our world. Blood and bone heritage needs to be honored, but it ought not be idolized, lest it become a form of ego-oriented pride and entitlement, and a means through which to foster divisiveness and legitimate judgment of others. Such a misuse of the gift of culture and dignity of the planet's diverse ethnicities drags humanity further into the suffering of ego rather than strengthening the soul. It is possible to experience unity of the heart whilst also honoring one's biological lineage. However, if honoring morphs into biological over-identification at the expense of one's universal spiritual nature, there is an increased likelihood of attachment to the power or story associated with one's particular culture. The soul can then become constrained by culturally constructed identity rather than empowered to work through the particular legacies of one's biological inheritance to evolve and benefit humanity. Discernment is required to differentiate between honoring and identifying so that freedom to take one's unique soul journey towards complete awakening is protected. Freedom to follow one's genuine soul calling is the lifeblood of the shamanic soul. For the soul to awaken to its fullness and calling, such freedom must be secured above all else. The oracle speaks of a time when you may need to honor the collective soul journey of your ancestries, but take care to avoid becoming so caught up in consciousness of clan that you derail your spiritual awakening. There are times when the only way to break a negative pattern, ancestral or otherwise, is to seek a spiritual resource from beyond it, integrating a completely different approach to overcome the energetic stasis. However, flying fish doesn't speak of complete abandonment of one's origins. It instead indicates a temporary flight into otherwise distinct realms to gain spiritual inspiration, a sense of deep relevance, personal meaning, and practical resourcefulness gained from a different perspective, and to bring the benefit of that back to one's world. Such flight may be needed numerous times along your soul path. The oracle speaks of unexpected yet authentic changes in your path, spiritually inspired and facilitated through leaps of faith. There is something of value within the soul that shall shift, evolve, and be sustained even through those changes. What lifts you spiritually will teach you how to do more than adapt or cope. You will evolve to thrive. If you are in the midst of one of these unexpected diversions, or sense that some leap of faith will soon be necessary in your life, have faith that your soul understands how and when to accomplish this for greatest progress. You may not realize it consciously, but you have an enormous inner strength that will instinctively and spontaneously propel you into new levels or worlds at the right moment. Trust the spiritual intelligence within and don't hold yourself back. Wow, very interesting. I definitely can't help but feel a deep connection to the hero's journey and how this was being talked about. But like, that's a journey of individuation. So aside from like upbringing and what we're used to, there's sometimes like ways that just like our individual souls need to go on journeys and experience things that are different and foreign and out of the realms of our understandings and get in over our heads and things to really learn who we are without those overlays, without enculturation, without expectations, without, just like really find out for ourselves who we are and what we're about and what we're doing. And when we do that, we do bring like this new thriving energy into vibration, which is attractive to the world in general. Like, people tend to really be drawn to, you know, watching people that do put themselves out there and take big leaps and take big challenges. And you may be someone that has, you know, really pushed yourself and been on, metaphorically, lots of these kinds of like leaps of faith and big journeys and really claimed your authentic path. Or you may be somebody that has always kind of shied away from that, found more comfort in the protection of what's known and familiar. And I don't think that's the point. Whatever you relate with, I think there's something coming up right now where it's like a new leap is coming. So whether or not that's comfortable to you and something you're used to, I feel like the topic you've brought here, the thing on your mind, is saying, like, if you really want to progress this, to understand it better, to move the needle forward, get to the bottom of something, like whatever it is around this topic, it's time to push yourself into a journey. So I kind of, you know, the other two piles, I let the tarot speak, the tarot portion just kind of generally come up and speak to what had already come up. But this feels like a specific call to action for you guys. I really want to do this tarot part to ask, like, what is the call to act? Like, what is this journey about? Is this something you need to seek? Is there going to be an external call to action you just need to respond to? Like, that kind of thing. Like, is this coming for you and you just have to respond? Is this something you're supposed to be seeking and pushing yourself into? Like, what is that about, right? Like, I guess, yeah, just wanting to understand that a little bit for you guys. The Star, New Hope. It's a calling from within. There's some kind of new impulse you're going to start to feel. And it's like, stay connected to that impulse, this new future vision. I love that the Star card came out with this wings, blood, and bone, because it did feel very, the Star card is connected to the sign of Aquarius. And I felt that evolution, that progress deep in the code of this wings, blood, and bone card, where it's like, it's time to see your future differently, or to envision something for your life. And it's like, this is saying that is going to come from within. There's going to be a new hope, a new wish, a new impulse, and it's like, follow it. So it will come from within, initially, at least. Let's follow that thread, see what else you can know about what's coming or how to deal with this. Four of Wands. Yeah, there's an impulse coming from within. There's some kind of new order that you're going to need to put in place. So there may be a little bit of upheaval, but I feel like, because like there's like a strong envisioning coming in, it's like, you know, immediately like what you need to do to kind of like create a circumstance or a platform or a entry point for yourself. So it's just like, take action and do the things, assertively do the things when that impulse comes. Like, there should be a lot of clarity and a lot of get-to-itiveness here. The Lovers, decision. Part of this journey is going to be about finding your higher self, trusting your higher self, knowing how to make decisions from your higher self. There may be some counterpart elements to this kind of epic journey that my sense is, if there's something in what we just read that stuck out to you and it feels like it spoke directly to your topic or the thing you brought here, stick with that. If talking about like a hero's journey doesn't resonate with you and you're like, well, that sentence did, take that, leave what I'm saying. But if the hero's journey resonates with you, like that's something you're feeling called to, there is something about, divine partnership coming through here, whether that's love or business. It's like knowing how to attract your divine counterpart, which is simply a mirror into harmonizing your own inner yin and yang, or two sides of yourself or aspects of yourself that you haven't let come out. Sometimes those divine counterparts help us to, like a thing we're so, that we're drawn in and that's alluring, and another is really about something in us we're needing to unleash. But things may play out on this journey in terms of some relationships to help things like that come about, to help you to claim higher versions of yourself, create pathways of connection to, dueling aspects of yourself, to come into just like a higher wisdom. Chariot, that's interesting because the Chariot comes directly after in the tarot the Lovers. So there is this sequential thing which does confirm something about a hero's journey to me, because even the Star, in terms of like how I would map the tarot onto a hero's journey, the Star is that like right after the refusal of the call to action. So there's like a call to action, and then there's a refusal of the call to action. And then there's this kind of like no going back, and we find spiritual guides, and the Star kind of lives somewhere in that territory, maybe a little before the spiritual guide, but this knowing that there's no going back and you have to see your future differently kind of thing. And then the Lovers comes before you're kind of like down in the atonement with the Father, and like the big moment of the journey of like confronting that thing that holds power over you. You're finding your own kind of way through temptations and making decisions and choices by becoming more whole and bringing out aspects of yourself that you initially have to see through another. And then the Chariot is that moving forward, confronting that thing that holds power over us, and knowing what that is, and looking at, straight down the barrel of the gun, so to speak, moving towards that challenge and facing it. Yeah, okay. And then last tarot card, we've got 8 of Cups. You may have been in a phase of life that just feels... I feel like the 8 of Cups is speaking to like why this journey is coming up, like where you are now, what this is all in response to, like what the thing that holds power over you right now. So what that chariot will be facing. That's what this feels like, is this kind of lost soul energy, like you've been stuck in a liminal space between here and there, and like not really knowing how to see your future or move forward, or just knowing that you're kind of not into life as it is, but not, it's like this apathy that might, this may not resonate for everyone, but there might be a few people coming here that is like the thing that holds power over you that you're going to end up having to face. Is like, where does that come from? Where does that mode in you come from that you can get stuck in easily? That thing of like losing interest in things, or not feeling like you're ever on the right path, or like you've never really correctly built foundation, so you're always starting over. You know, what is that about? By saying yes and leaping out of the world you're in right now and responding to an impulse you feel in you, that's something that you will face and overcome on this journey. Oh my gosh, I forgot to bring your card that was your placeholder into this, so that's interesting. We'll bring that in for the last card, the Four of Discs. This actually feels like, oh, I'm glad I forgot it, because this feels like a response to what I just said about the Eight of Cups being like you've never quite built the right foundation or known how to build a foundation. And it's like you confront that, and then by the end of this journey, that's what you bring back to your regular world, is knowing the foundation you want to build and how to build it and how to make life secure. That, yeah, so very interesting. Okay, so hopefully that brought some insight, some guidance that was helpful. If the whole hero's journey thing doesn't resonate with the topic you brought here, I would just go back and re-listen to the guidebook, and maybe there's a paragraph or a sentence or something in there that really pops for your particular circumstance. But I feel like the majority of people coming here, there is something where you are about to get a new impulse that will really take you on this like epic adventure type of scenarios. So, all right, if this did resonate, I always appreciate support, likes, shares, subscribes. If you think other people would connect with this reading, that helps them to find it. It helps the algorithm get it to more people, that kind of stuff. So please do that. And yeah, I hope to see you in future readings. And I hope those of you saying yes to the impulse and that resonate with like a new hero's journey, good luck on that. I'm excited for you. Those journeys come with high highs and low lows, but overall they are expanding and amazing, and you know, really grow our, you know, like help us claim our place in life, in the world. So I'm excited for you in that regard. All right, I will see you guys in future or past readings. See ya.